Okay, my house is flooding. Anybody out there? I have my dad on hospice and I need to get him out of here. He's bedridden. He can't walk. He can hardly move. And look where the water is.
Oh my God.
So somebody please, we've called 911. It's bad over here. In front of the house, it's like a river. I mean, it's like a lake.
Oh my God,
they
look
can't
at that.
come look. We've lost our cars, everything. We've lived here for 30 years and this has never happened. So anybody, please, if you have a boat or something, I need help. I need to get my dad out of here. It's starting to smell like sewer in here.
Wow, could you imagine that, guys? I think this is from Kerrville, Texas, or Kerr, Texas, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it is, though. And this one is from Kerr County.
This is one of the bodies that was pulled out during the floods in Kerr County this morning. So far, there has been 6 people that have been confirmed dead. The search continues for people that are missing, some of them being children. Some summer camps were flooded. And they're currently working to get some children out of there. At a press conference earlier today, a reporter asked officials why they didn't notify other people about the floods. The officials' response was that they simply didn't know about them. Of the victims that have been found, they haven't been able to identify them yet. The officials say that if you do want to help out, you can contact the Red Cross for more information.
That looks scary. Oh my God, look at how freaky. That reminds me of the movie 2012, where on the trailer they show this like Tibetan monk and he's way up in the Himalayas or wherever he is, right? And all of a sudden they show like the ocean's water come up, and that's what that looks like. Very, very scary.
Somebody tell the flood victims in Texas to sue the motherfucking federal government and the motherfucking state of Texas because they got rid of the National Weather Service and FEMA, and now they're fucked. Who said that?
I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard different stories on both sides.
The flooding yesterday in Texas was sad, tragic, and the loss of most of those lives, at least, was totally preventable, and it was a result of the cuts made by Doge, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, and it's cost American lives, and I'm about to prove it in 2 minutes. So let's start off by listening to a reporter's question to Kristi Noem earlier today, and I think it says a lot.
I live in Kerrville. Why was the National Weather Service not pinging our phones before 7 o'clock the day of?
That was a reporter who lives in Kerrville telling Kristi Noem that he did not get an alert until 7 o'clock in the morning. The flooding started as early as 2 o'clock. Now let's see why that might be. This is the guy that's in charge of warning coordination in that area, Austin and San Antonio. After 32 years, he quit because of Doge cuts. It says here, takes early retirement because of the NOAA's recent cuts to personnel and budget. They literally cut the budget in the area with the most dangerous flooding valley in the United States. And if you don't believe me, listen to the top guy down at the Texas Emergency Management.
No one knew this kind of flood was coming. We have floods all the time. This is the most dangerous river valley in the United States.
Wow.
And lastly, here are the first responders down there saying that the weather forecast that they got from the Nashville Weather Service was completely wrong.
And everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right? You all got it. You're all in media. You got that forecast. It did not predict the amount of rain that we saw.
So we cut weather service funding in the most dangerous river valley in the entire United States. And then a bunch of campers and a bunch of people who were around the river did not get their warnings until 5 hours after the flooding had started. You can connect the dots. This was a complete failure by Musk, Doge, and Trump, and it cost lives.
Okay, so that's one side of the story, and if that's true, obviously that's very disturbing. But let's see if we can get some of the the other side's story. Here we go.
Oh, they're lying to you again.
Maria, we're also learning that there were significant staffing shortfalls at the National Weather Service's offices in the region.
The fake news is out in full force, claiming that Trump's DOGE cuts caused the flood in Texas. What happened in Texas was heartbreaking. Lives were lost, families shattered, and now some are trying to use that tragedy to score cheap political points. Let's be clear, this flood wasn't caused by Trump, and it wasn't caused by budget cuts. According to Fox News and the Houston Chronicle, the National Weather Service issued a flash flood watch the day before, then upgraded to a flash flood emergency at 4:03 a.m., the highest level of alert they give. Meteorologist Avery Tomasco confirmed to Fox the Weather Service did their job, and they did it well. The real issue? Forecasts underestimated how much rain would fall. The National Weather Service expected 3 to 7 inches, but over 12 inches came down fast, according to the Texas Tribune and Reuters. And yes, it's true, Trump proposed cuts to NOAA, but those cuts targeted research labs and long-term satellite programs, not the emergency warning systems that worked that night. So blaming Trump for this flood when local alerts went out and nature overwhelmed the system isn't just wrong, it's political exploitation. Let's honor the victims. Let's talk seriously about land use, drainage, and accurate forecasting, but don't weaponize grief to score points. Prayers to the families and to the media pushing this narrative. Do better.
Very scary, though, to find out that this is like the #1 flood system in the whole country. And some of the pictures and videos we saw, guys, absolutely apocalyptic, scary. Scariest thing I've ever seen. When it looks like there's an ocean outside your front door, something's wrong.
Some more updates about the catastrophic flooding in Central Texas.
Please.
My wife and I just spoke to people over at Rio, Texas Disaster Relief. The people in Kerr County and those surrounding it are in need, specifically in need of hygiene-related items. My wife and I are going to be posting on our local Facebook groups to see if anyone wants to get together to deliver these items out to them. We will be heading out at some point later in the week to go help those people in need out in Hunt, Texas and the surrounding cities. I have put the information for the disaster response team blue screen behind me so y'all can see it if you're interested in helping out.
Just wanted to make a quick video. There is a whole lot going on with this Guadalupe River tragedy in Kerr County with the flooding. There's a whole bunch of children, unfortunately, that have fallen victim to this. And when you look online, there's an insane amount of people taking pleasure in this tragedy and taking pleasure in the fact that children have been unalived in raging mud waters. It's so disgusting, obviously, and all because of who they think that these kids' parents voted for. If you want to know why there's so many people in the world that will never ever even want to be friends with certain people or even want to talk with certain people in any way, it's because of this. The fact that there are tons of people out there and we know who they are. We know what side of the political aisle they're on. It's always the same story. Taking pleasure in children passing in floods. It's disgusting. There's a special place in the afterlife for you.
So I haven't really seen too many videos about that. I'm sure if you looked at all the comments, you could find some negative ones like that. I'm thinking that whoever you voted for, these kids weren't old enough to vote, and I think right now, the last count I heard was like 82 have perished, and I think close to like 28 or so have been, they believe are children.
Should we get some out of this room?
I don't know.
I mean, it's big. Look at this.
Now, this one is so scary and movie-like that it might be fake for all I know, but again, it says it's from Kerrville, so if this is true, just imagine how scary it would be seeing this out your back window.
Upstairs! Wait! Upstairs! It's coming up! It's at the window!
I heard the waters rose up like 28 or 30 feet in like 45 minutes. Did you guys hear that? That is unreal. And what if that breaks through the window? How scary. It would be one thing if the water came up to your window. That's scary enough, but like this sounds like a raging river. Again, not 100% sure if this is legit.
I don't know if people just couldn't pass a basic listening comprehension test or they're being willfully ignorant to fit their own political narrative, but I never said anything about flood victims not being notified by the government or by any agency.
Okay, let's read this real quick. It says, reply to Mikey's comment. The National Weather Service issued a flood watch for Kerr County more than 12 hours ahead of the catastrophic flood. A flash flood warning was issued for Hunt and Ingram 3 hours before the Guadalupe, and then that's where it cuts off. So again, if somebody lets you know about it 12 hours ahead of time, is that doing their due diligence or could they have done more? From what I understand, people were under the impression that 4 to 7 inches were going to rain down, and obviously much more than that came down.
What I said was that if this was the level of devastation that happened with the current level of funding, that we should not be cutting further to NOAA and the National Weather Service, because then that would be really, really, really bad.
God, it's so crappy how like everything that we're doing requires like we have to make this decision on if we're going to fund something or not. And every single item is something that you want to be able to fund. But if it equates to us cashing out our future, right? And if we get so much debt that it just destroys the whole system itself, you've got to make certain cuts. From what I understand, Doge tried cutting the like unnecessary parts of various groups. So who knows?
My teacher from many years ago in high school, who has a very certain political bent, who has to make posts over and over again about how awful the current administration is. I'm not here to make a post about for or against anything political, but you're making a post about a flood that happened here, not even 40 miles from where I live, a place you've never been to, a place you probably will never go to. There are still people missing. Many of the girls that were from that camp are still missing. One was found, 12 miles downriver from where she was washed away. They found her alive, and now she passed away this morning.
Ugh.
Another lady was found 22 miles down the river from where she was washed away. In this flood that happened on the Guadalupe River in Kerrville, Texas, people's houses were washed away. Cars, vehicles, everything that was in the water's path, because the water rose almost 30 feet in 45 minutes. That's like a wall of water coming at you. People were camping out there. They were in the middle of the night, and people were making this political. You're disgusting. This isn't political. It's a once in 1,000-year flood. Instead of making comments that aren't going to do anybody any good, go donate to a relief fund that's trying to help people find their loved ones.
It's really true. This is one of those things that kind of, I think, expands beyond your political bent. But I would love to know your thoughts down below. Do you think this is the current administration's problem, or do you think this was just one of these freak weather events where just too much water came down at once? It looks to me like a year and a half worth of water came down in one 20-minute period.
I think there's going to be something happening at a camp. It kind of felt like a sleepaway camp to me, but it could be just a campground in general. But there will be something that happens with a camp. So I saw that. I also have.
So it says here that on June 26th, which was about a week or so ago, this lady actually saw something in a vision that came to her about a camp. And then all of a sudden, a handful of days later, we've got these floods here in Kerrville, Texas. Obviously, our prayers go out to them. I hope you would consider hitting the subscribe button, hit the like button, if you will, as well, and come again tomorrow. We'll watch some more videos together. Have a good night.